Today, we're diving into a formal institutional briefing on a firm that's literally reshaping how corporate strategy is deployed across the Middle East. We're looking at the strategic corporate profile of Management Advisory W.L.L. Look, if you're operating or even planning to operate at an institutional level within the state of Qatar, understanding their operational blueprint is absolutely critical for your capital deployment. They're widely recognized as the premier strategic partner for institutional growth in the region, and today we're going to unpack exactly how they engineer that growth.
Let's start with a statement that instantly sets MMA apart from your traditional consulting groups. Quote, "We do not just advise, we execute." In the high-stakes environment of regional expansion, mere theoretical consultancy, it often falls severely short. MMA's definitive market differentiator is their unyielding commitment to precise, project-based deliverables. They aren't just handing you a strategy deck and walking away. They integrate directly into the execution phase to ensure those high-level strategies actually translate into measurable corporate success.
Here's our agenda for today's briefing. We'll cover strategic imperatives in Qatar, executing project-based deliverables, the core pillars of advisory, sovereign and global alignment, and finally, strategic market integration. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Strategic Imperatives in Qatar. Let's look at the macro context.
Expanding into the region and deploying capital is highly lucrative for sure, but it's also structurally complex. Achieving true market penetration isn't just about throwing down a physical presence. It requires absolute alignment with sovereign developmental goals. You really need a trusted ally, someone who possesses a deep, highly nuanced understanding of the economic landscape to successfully navigate those structural complexities.
And this is exactly where a lot of institutions hit a massive hurdle, the insider-outsider gap. Effectively deploying capital requires crossing that divide. Elite regional networking paired with flawless execution of the micro details isn't just optional here, it is strictly mandatory. MMA steps in as that crucial strategic partner, capable of bridging the gap, ensuring your corporate ambitions are backed by definitive social and professional leverage.
Moving to Section 2, Executing Project-Based Deliverables, Focusing on Micro Execution.
MMA's core value proposition bridges that notoriously treacherous gap between initial strategy and operational reality. Through highly targeted, project-based excellence, they take these incredibly complex commercial ambitions, the large-scale, multi-tiered objectives institutional investors grapple with daily, and they transform them into concrete, measurable corporate success. It's moving from the theoretical what-if directly to the operational what-is.
Which brings us to Section 3, Core Pillars of Advisory. This is all about engineering institutional value.
MMA operates on 3 prescriptive pillars, specifically designed to guarantee organizational health and transaction success: assurance, growth, and integration. Let's zoom in on assurance for a second, which is driven by their management, audit, and advisory services. This goes way beyond basic compliance. It's a meticulous examination focused on financial health, transparency, and, crucially, mitigating systemic vulnerabilities. The whole goal is to ensure sustainable growth is structurally built into the organization rather than just hoped for.
Now, for the growth pillar, they manage complex deals using a really smart dual-track strategy. On one side, you have transaction advisory, addressing the why, delivering the strategic valuation and financial guidance institutional investors absolutely need to make informed decisions. On the flip side, M&A advisory handles the how. This is the actual mechanics of operational execution, finding the targets, grasping the full transaction scope, and streamlining processes to maximize enterprise value.
The third pillar, integration, leverages commercial management. MMA treats this as an innovative value-for-money tool. By utilizing partnership analysis, strategic design, and what they call co-creation, they foster deep stakeholder synergy. This basically ensures that every single internal and external relationship is actively capitalized upon to drive superior business results and ultimately secure those high-yield returns.
On to Section 4, Sovereign and Global Alignment, where we look at calibrating frameworks.
So, true operational success in Qatar demands a highly specific balancing act. You have to perfectly calibrate global compliance frameworks with regional developmental mandates. M&A ensures your corporate strategy is rigorous enough to satisfy international institutional investors, while simultaneously and actively advancing local national objectives.
To maintain this kind of leadership, MMA ensures client operations are structurally designed to meet the world's most stringent global standards. We're talking about embedding ESG for sustainability, aligning with UN's Sustainable Development Goals for global impact,
ensuring rock-solid financial comparability through IFRS, and notably, facilitating internal auditing for ISO standards, with a premier focus on human capital reporting. This guarantees the firm is fully optimized for modern governance.
And here's the brilliant part. This global compliance maps directly onto Qatar's specific national framework. The Qatar National Vision 2030's Human Development Pillar, it's directly supported by MMA's Human Capital Reporting and ISO auditing. Similarly, the Third National Development Strategy, NDS3, prioritizes economic diversification. M&A fuels this transition to a non-oil-dependent economy through their M&A advisory and commercial management services. They are engineering institutional value that contributes directly to the national legacy. No small feat, right?
Finally, Section 5, Strategic Market Integration. Let's talk about the leverage of networks.
Internal excellence is great, but it has to be projected externally. How does MMA pull this off? Through a powerful dual force. First, they deploy modern growth engines, think targeted digital strategies like PR and SEO digital partnerships to build and vigorously defend your stakeholder value in the digital economy. Second, they utilize aggressive business matchmaking. Because at this level, it's not just about what you know. It's about leveraging their elite network of industry leaders to turn community knowledge into a massive competitive advantage.
Ultimately, branching into new, exponentially profitable territories requires precise, unwavering support. MMA acts as the definitive gateway and your primary outreach partner. Through companies' representation and partnership co-creation, they connect you to the exact right stakeholders and put your company firmly in the commercial spotlight. So, to wrap up our briefing today, Management Advisory W.L.L. stands uniquely positioned as the premier strategic partner for institutional growth within the state of Qatar. By seamlessly bridging the gap between high-level technical expertise and elite strategic networking, they take those complex commercial ambitions and make them an operational reality. They navigate the complexity so you can accelerate the growth.
Which leaves us with a pretty critical question to chew on as we conclude this explainer. Take a hard look at your own operations. Is your institution truly structurally calibrated for the complex realities of regional expansion? Are you genuinely ready to deploy capital and lock in those vital strategic partnerships in the region? Because as we've seen today, having a grand vision is one thing, but having a partner that can actually execute the micro details, well, that's what defines ultimate success. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.